no place to escape to.
This is the last podcast.
On the left.
Live from your grave.
That's when the cannibalism started.
What was that?
I live to entertain.
Oh, always, nonstop.
Every day, man. All I have to do is, you give me a broomstick, that's my cane. You give me a couple of old kitchen tiles, I'll tape them to the bottoms of my feet, and I'll do a dance. I am made to do a show. And you know what? And I think that is the reason why every single time I go home, my mom still says the sentence, why can't you just be on Broadway?
Why can't you?
Why can't I?
Right, why? No, honestly, why can't you?
Because I'm not a good enough performer to get to Broadway.
That's not true. It's going to take the right role. Henry Zebrowski, welcome to Side Stories, everyone. A much dumber show than last podcast on the left proper, so be prepared for that. I am Ben Kissel. It's dumber. I am Ben Kissel. That is Henry Zebrowski. And you know what? Just send Henry some encouragement. I feel like he's down because he hasn't had his big Broadway debut yet. But I will say this, Henry, no one likes Broadway anyway.
Broadway is for losers. Let's just say this. First of all, it's for losers. All right? We all know this. I do
Are you calling Nathan Lane a loser, sir?
Loser. Nobody loser.
Wow.
I do believe that, yes, I did lose Dr. Robotnik to Jim Carrey.
Sure.
In the new Sonic the Hedgehog movie. Sure, I get it. His cachet. If you look at his IMDb rating, I'm certain it is leagues beyond mine.
Sure, yes.
However, stage show, this guy.
Right.
I'm floating above you. Smell my feet, Mr. Hedgehog. Smell my feet. Like, I can do that. Collect your rings, your filtered little rings. Oh, why do you collect your rings? You'll never be married. Okay. Sonic the Hedgehog.
Well,
no
Mr.
one loves you.
Mr. Zebrowski, wonderful audition. Now, none of those words were actually in the song. Is it possible that you didn't read the script at all?
Hey, Mr. Producer, you see what I have here in my pocket?
That is a pair of scissors.
It's a pair of scissors. Hey, that's what we're going to do, all right?
Uh-oh.
I'm going to be Dr. Robotnik on Broadway. And if not, these scissors, going to take off your clothes first with snips. Can you hear it? The effects of it?
I don't think you can hear it.
As I'm cutting, you can't hear the snipping? Snip,
no, you're
snip,
like one of these conservatives protesting Nike. You're going to do that to the director, though.
Oh, so brave.
Oh,
they're so brave.
They're burning shoes.
I'll cut off their pants, I'll cut off their shirt, then I'll play with their nipples so they're all red and irritated.
Well, that actually might get you the job. Yeah, absolutely.
See?
I think that's how Nathan Lane did get his first job on Broadway, as a matter of fact.
You get down on those knees and you suck that dick and you lick those balls until they fucking shoot as hard as possible.
You just lost the job. Now you managed to lose the job. You got the job and lost the job in 25 seconds.
I think that you could be a lead on Broadway if you can fit a whole dick and balls inside of your mouth.
All right. Very good. Okay, we got a bunch of fun stories to get to today.
We really
B.T.K, the most annoying of all the serial killers. He's back in the news, gave a little press conference. I know Henry has that story. We're going to get to that a little bit later on. We got another interesting story coming out. I believe it's Oklahoma, where a dude, young man, he killed 5 family members. We're going to talk about that. And also, I have an interesting pug story that's kind of sad that we can get to as well. Which one do we want to start out with, Henry? We also got the headless guy.
I feel like we should start with B.T.K. just because it's real quick.
All right.
There's an update recently. So basically what turns out is that B.T.K., there's a long-lost confession to a reporter that he gave right after his arrest that's going to be coming out, and there's a new documentary that's being made. I know Lifetime's doing Snapped, the origins of B.T.K., and then there's another documentary coming out about him, so there's going to be new footage coming out about B.T.K. and shit that he said. And there's a couple of things that he said that were very interesting and also just annoying.
But why? This is the thing that is a little bit annoying. The name of the documentary is going to be Snapped, Notorious B.T.K. Killer. Once again, Notorious has some sort of like Conor McGregor, like maybe he's a cool guy vibe. He is not a cool guy. He's
Notorious.
Yes, exactly. And Snapped, he didn't snap. This wasn't an angry wife who all of a sudden just hit her husband over the head with a frying pan. He was doing this for 30 years. He was never put together enough in the first place to even snap. He was always snapped.
Yes, they are incorrect. I'm with you. I believe they're completely incorrect. I don't really understand why you'd call it snapped.
No.
They are giving him the attention that he craves.
Yes.
He said this afterwards. So in these statements, basically he said, number one, a demon crawled into me and that's why I did it. And not serious, because there was a demon inside of him. Ugh. Can you imagine his beehole?
Yeah. It was an unlucky day to be a demon, be like, what was that, Satan? Oh, you wanted me to crawl into that heavy set with Midwestern man's butt and do what now?
Yeah, buddy, yeah.
Oh, man.
You just got punked.
Satan's Ashton Kutcher, huh?
But they go and they did, so he confessed to additional parts of his crimes.
Yes.
He said that he had a lot of feelings for his victims. And that he did it for the high of the hunt and getting the trophy. What a piece of shit. He then did he said a statement that he did it to be famous.
Right.
He wanted to be a famous serial killer.
And of course, inevitably, for those that listen to our B.T.K. series, that was his inevitable downfall. No one was talking about him for too long, so he had to send a floppy disk to Cake News, and that is who he gave this interview with. This is way back in 2000.
Cake News?
Cake News. K-A-K-E.
Oh, is that with the guy from Zubo's Just Desserts, the guy from the Australian Fancy Dessert Show, or the other guy from I think it's Crazy Sweet or Sweet Genius?
No, this is not a Cake Boss episode. This has nothing to do with food. It just happens to be K-A-K-E TV, Cake News.
Interesting.
Yes. So this was on July 2nd in 2005, way back in the day. He sat down with reporter Larry Hatberg, and this is where he gave a now newly uncovered interview. He says, this is what he says in the documentary, and I think you're just going to hate this. He says, how could a guy like me, church member, raised a family, go out and do those sorts of things? I want the people of Sedgwick County, the United States, and the world to know that I am a serial killer. It's the dark side of me.
He's such a bragging piece of shit. He acts like he's fucking Batman. I hate him so much. But then he did say what is an interesting reveal is that he had one murder left planned.
Yes. Now, what is this?
He was stalking a woman. He had identified the victim. And then what he said he was going to do, he was going to do a series of tortures, which we don't know what it was yet. And then he was going to hang her upside down. And then his pièce de résistance, he was going to set the house on fire using propane tanks. And it was going to be his statement to the world, and it was going to be over. It's something about...
What's the statement? What is the statement, Dennis?
It's just, he's being a real Lars von Trier. He thinks his work is way more important than it is. All of this, it's very interesting that if you look at it, that now he's largely, people don't really go into the intricacies of his crimes like they do with Charles Manson or Ted Bundy, which is interesting about how he put so much time and energy into making each one of these layered crime scenes that are supposed to tell a story about his erotic dark side, but no one reads about it.
No, I mean, of course, let's not forget as well his erotic dark side, but then also his horrible sense of humor, where after I believe it was he murdered an elderly woman, I believe he ate a bowl of cereal to give the impression that, get it? He's a serial killer.
I hate him.
He is horrible. Also, everyone, when we say we don't have any sympathy whatsoever for Dennis Rader, we have very little sympathy for any serial killer that we cover, never be a serial killer. But he had a great life. He talks about how his father was strict but never cruel. And then he talks about how his dad worked long hours, but he always got along really well with his dad. But he didn't like his mom. And he said, my mom was always quite happy. I've always loved her. I still love her greatly. But I did have a little bit of a grudge against Mama. That's his words, which is disgusting. And the reason he had a grudge was because she would read books and watch television and not pay enough attention to him. That's his big gripe.
He just should have been shot in the head as a boy. But how do you choose which kid to murder? You know what I mean? You don't know.
I know. You don't know. It's not. Look what happened to Bruce Willis in the movie Looper. He's out there killing so many innocent kids. Not good.
Looper.
Great movie.
Is it controversial to say like just wipe out 1 in 5 kids.
Well, I think that makes you now the serial killer.
Unless I'm a part of the government, then it's law.
Well, that's true.
We just take a shot at it, and 1 in 5 kids, we all just go like, all right. Like if it's you just go, oh, you got me. The kid goes away, but you do it before you get real attached. You do it as soon as they come out. And then you kind of weed them out one by one. I don't know if that's some form of, I'm saying a form of cruel fascism that will then be leading into the future that will eventually be the truth because I've just said it, like a butterfly effect.
It's possible. I think that it's a problematic point, but nonetheless, I understand if you were 100% accurate in all of your assessment of everyone that you killed, then I guess theoretically, then you're a lifesaver. I don't know how it works.
I don't know how it works. I don't want to know necessarily. I don't really want to do that, but you just think about fun ideas and you let it just kind of see what happens inside of your brain.
Well, this is according to B.T.K. from himself. This was him in grade school. He says, I would say probably even when I was in grade school, I sort of had some problems. I would say so. He said, sexual fantasies probably more than normal. All males probably go through some sexual fantasy. Mine was just weirder than the other people. That's one way to put his sexual weird. I would say B.T.K. he's weird.
Ugh, I just want him to go away. Now that this came about, like, all right, we had to cover it. As soon as I saw it, I was like, okay, I want to go through this. But now it's time for B.T.K. to just go away. They keep trying to pull out these crimes again. But it's interesting because it's because he wants it so bad.
So bad.
He'll never get it. He'll never get the type of infamy that he wants. He'll never be on shirts. He'll never be like Richard Ramirez or these rock star, quote unquote, rock star serial killers that people like sexually fantasize about. You're nothing, dude. You're literally just a weird old man.
And to your point earlier, Henry, he did say that in 1971, so that's when he married Paula Dates, and then they had the kids. But apparently his fascination with the Manson family was one of the things that sort of like, I don't know if it pushed him into serial killing. I think nothing pushed him. He would have done it no matter what.
No.
But he was fascinated with the fame concept.
No. We all were into serial killers, and we just became comedians. All right, that's it. So many people, our entire fan base are people that read about the Manson family murders when they were kids. You can totally read about serial killers and be fine. He's just trying to be like, look how interesting I am. He is just such a psychopath that he took being a serial killer as a career move. Like he took it as
made
like,
a lot of money off of it.
This is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to do with my life.
You know, if you love what you're doing, you're never working.
You never
have a job if you love what you're doing.
But don't you feel that now that we're doing what we love, that it does still feel like working, but it's fun.
Yeah, it's an immense amount of stress, an immense amount of lot of pressure, but it is fun, and we're very fortunate to be speaking with all of you right now, and we all love you so much. Hail yourself.
Good.
But when it comes to, thank you, when it comes to BTK, I really do blame the culture, and I blame Rolling Stone for putting Manson on the cover. He saw that, I think that was in 76, something like that. It's like, that's what happened. All of a sudden, Manson was literally bigger than Charles Manson because he's very tiny, but his whole narrative got blown so far out into the atmosphere or the, I don't even know what am I thinking about? Into the stratosphere.
What?
He thought he was, Manson was bigger than life. And BTK wanted to be bigger than life, so he thought he could be like Charles Manson.
Never gonna get it, never gonna get it. Never gonna get it, never gonna get it. Never gonna get it, never gonna get it. Never gonna get it. Never get it.
I love In Vogue. Whatever happened to In Vogue?
I love In Vogue. Actually, they were at the Sands Resort when we were driving from Phoenix to Los Angeles. They are performing over there. Yeah.
I missed that. Yes. I can't wait for Casino, Henry, and Ben.
Oh, it's gonna
be so great. But we're not doing a meet and greet, but you can see me at the slot machines. I'll be playing the Johnny Cash slot machine, which, by the way, in Atlantic City, I lost $300 to Mr. Johnny Cash. I know he's dead, R.I.P., and he had nothing to do with it, but I trusted the machine a little bit more than the other machines, and he took me for a ride.
I tell you what, I went to the one that had a little girl on it that looked like JonBenet Ramsey, put in $20, won $200.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Golden touch.
All right, so that's basically the update on BTK. He's 73 years old now. Just get out. Just get out of this earth. Get off of this earth at some point.
Off yourself. Can't just somebody go and fucking bash his brains in at the jail in the gym or whatever. I'm certain that he keeps himself very private. We know that if you want to write letters to him, you have to fill out a form. Like you have to go, and he wants to know all of this shit about you, till your age, your hobbies, where you live, like all of this shit. He's a fucking ugh.
Yeah. And then he has to approve you. The audacity of this man who used to do the Buffalo Bill in the mirror, tucking everything, killing everyone, killed 2 children, by the way, has to approve you to speak with him.
Yeah,
that is pathetic.
He's a real Corey Feldman.
He's highfalutin. That's what
Corey
I say.
Feldman gives a very interesting performance in the film Corbin Nash on Netflix.
All right. Well, you have to check that out.
Interesting performance. So maybe that'll segue right into this Oklahoma teen who actually murdered for the same exact reasons.
Well, sure, we can do the Oklahoma teen. So this kid, he's going to serve 5 life terms in prison, which, dare I say, you really only need to serve the 1. But nonetheless, they gave him 5.
It's a principle.
I know, it's the principle. He brutally murdered his mom, his dad, and his 2 younger brothers and his sister. This was way back in 2015. The guy's name is Michael Bever. He was 16 years old at the time, and evidently he was homeschooled. He says he was abused. His parents never let him go outside and play with the other kids. He was a real Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, although he wasn't rejected from playing with the other kids because the other kids didn't want to play with him. His parents didn't let him play with anyone else. So that it was the motivation for him killing his entire family. Dare I say, he went a little bit overboard.
I think he went overboard.
I'm just going to say that.
But they did it in turn with his older brother. Right. And they're saying that apparently they're trying to all flip it to saying that the older brother manipulated him and killing the family. But the reason why I thought the story was interesting was because first of all, they said it was like, oh yeah, it's because, they were beating us. But it's like, no, they were homeschooled. So they were a little strange, but they were fine. Right. You know what I mean? Like and the parents are super strict. But the secondary reason they kind of floated out is that the 2 of them said that together they were hoping to murder 50 people, and they really wanted their own Wikipedia page.
This is another thing that ties back to BTK and Manson. Their own Wikipedia page. Just make one. Is it that difficult? I don't have a Wikipedia page, so maybe it's almost impossible to get one. But what a strange juvenile motivation to murder your family and want to murder 45 more people.
I can definitely make you a Wikipedia page. I can make you one. It's putting the work in to do it, which I can do. But it's like a part of it is that I'm also like, you don't want me doing it.
No, I definitely don't. I would prefer a fan who really has my best interest in mind.
No, I would have an interest, sort of. I would have an interest in
you would have an interest in public embarrassment and lies such as Bud Light Lime. You might throw that lie out there once again and solidify it in a Wikipedia page.
I have proof. I have a bit
proof.
of a bombshell.
No, honestly, what happened was I was speaking with Brooke about it. She went through a Bud Light Lime phase. I said it was Jackie a couple of weeks. It was Brooke. So you saw Brooke drinking. We're together all the time. You put me, and I don't even know what that says about you, but you blurred us together, and then that's what happened.
This is? You know what the sound is? It's you flip-flopping on your big bear belly.
Oh, my.
Flip-flopping. You're shifting back and forth. The story's changing all the time. What's truth and what's not truth?
Don't you swift boat me.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you're swift boating. That's what you're doing. That's what this is. I've got proof.
Okay.
And we're going to see it one day. I'm waiting just until you're at your lowest. I'm going to hit your lowest and you're the very bottom. And then I'll reveal what I have in store. I'll reveal it.
Well, I think you missed it. I think I've been at my lowest already. So there you go, buddy. You missed your chance. And also, you're just waiting until you get mildly okay at Photoshop. And then you're going to have your big Oswald-like reveal. And it's going to be so obvious the shadow isn't right. It's going to be pathetic.
No,
and I will have to have my own Kevin Costner defend me in the court of law.
I would pay upwards of several $1,000s of getting one of those like fake videos. Like now they're faking that like they could put your face and make it say whatever you want. Like just you in a hotel late at night, all hammered, going like, Bud Light Lime is the only thing between this world and chaos. Like something like that. Or just you just fucking drinking and alone.
So his older brother, Michael, he got 253 years according to Oklahoma law, and he must serve at least 85% of his sentence of 253 years. So I think it's safe to say Michael and Michael and Robert. Michael was the 16-year-old. Robert was the older brother. I think it's safe to say they will never be getting out. But if you look at the picture of this kid, he reminds me of the kid from I Am a Killer, which is a fairly good Netflix documentary. The guy who goes in to rob the store or the jewelry store after his lady friend took all of her boyfriend's coke, and then they were like, oh shit. And then the guy was like, go rob this bank or go rob this store, this jewelry store. And then anyway, long story short, a murder occurs, but he was like a baby. He looks like a 10-year-old. And that's what this guy, Michael Bever looks like too.
He's kind of fucked, to be honest. You look at him and he's kind of got a Dylan Roof kind of energy going. Not Dylan. Yeah, right. Dylan Roof.
Well, Dylan Roof is the one who shot up the church.
He looks like him.
South Carolina.
And then he's got a Dylan Klebold energy. Bad name, Dylan.
Yeah, maybe it is a bad name.
It's a bad name.
Bob Dylan, but Bob is actually the first name. So Dylan is a last name. Okay, Dylan is a first name. Be careful. And maybe you don't have any guns in the house.
Hey, man, just don't have any guns in the house. And also, make a kid either believe themselves or so not believe themselves that they won't kill everybody else. So what I would say is it's a combination of both. It's encouragement, but then it's also every once in a while being like, you don't have the guts to kill anybody. And make sure you throw that in every once in a while so they believe that.
Right. Well, that might backfire, though, because some people at a certain age take dares very seriously. And they say, well, I was dared to do it. And then that's why someone just went up and shot up a 1 potato, 2 potato at some Center Point mall.
Yes, that's true. That I can see. But also at the same time, if we install my plan of 1 in 5 children are gone away or put away.
That's one nice way to put it, yeah.
What they do is that then they just know that every day they'll live a life of how lucky I am that I won the lottery. Everybody's a lottery winner.
So it's a public. You want these executions to be public as sort of a lesson for the other children.
It would be kind of maybe interesting that if you could be at the maternity ward and there was like a kiosk kind of thing where people could vote on which baby goes down the chute.
Oh, I see. Like a perverted mall Santa Claus, like from A Christmas Story.
I'm just spitballing.
Ho, ho. Yes, well, it's controversial.
I'm spitballing. If I was a part of a think tank, yes, I would just be one of the guys. But you need a guy like me on the think tank because I'm the one with the most extreme view, and then they can all see where they've got to go to get towards the middle.
Right. Yeah, you want to be the thing that people don't want to be.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
But that's my role in life.
I don't know. People like maybe a Karl Rove type might just take your opinions very seriously and enact them as actual policy.
Well, that's where we're at right now with the actual kids. We're actually at that point now with the government.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's move on to this story. Now, it's not the saddest story because it doesn't involve a human death, but I think it's the saddest story in some ways because it involves the death of a pug, an adorable pug as well.
I'm actually even kind of feeling weird about doing this story because it is about the murder of a dog. But it's sad that we just openly talked about B.T.K. for 20 minutes and I felt nothing.
Well, you can't. He's not to feel anything. We feel for his victims, but he is such an overshadowing dark cloud of douchiness that it's hard to focus on anything else.
Popped him in the head.
Yep. So 2 men. Now, these are Maine men. From Maine, of course. Perhaps they're related to Stephen King. Perhaps not. They are accused of killing a 6-year-old pug mix after kidnapping them from their former boss. This happened on Tuesday morning. A fellow named Nathan Burke, who is 37, and Justin Chipman, who is 22, turned themselves into the Hancock County Jail after warrants were issued for their arrest. Both formerly worked as stern men on the dog's owner's fishing boat, and the owner tells people he considered both of them friends. Well, not friends don't kill your dog. I'm going to say it right here. I'm going to say it proud. I'm going to say it clear. Friends don't kill other friends' dogs.
What do stern men do on a boat? Do they just sit there being like, stop laughing? Everybody's dancing. Stop dancing. Tell those girls to put their shirts back on. We don't like it.
I want a dry T-shirt contest.
Yes.
Why can't we ever have a dry T-shirt contest?
Just on the merits of the shirts that they are wearing.
I have no idea. Yeah, if someone knows, please let us know what stern men do on a fishing boat. I watched Wicked Tuna. I watched one episode of that. I don't understand, but they didn't cover what stern men were. So
was Wicked Tuna like the world's most dangerous job?
kind of. It's they're fishermen, and then they get tuna, and I don't know why it's called wicked tuna. They're not even from Boston, I don't believe. And they're like, oh, that's a wicked tuna. I don't know why it's just called wicked tuna, and it implies that the tuna has some emotional value. That is, but the tuna is just tuna. It's pleasant tuna. If anything, they look relatively nice as animals, big but nice.
We're overfishing them. Is what we're doing.
We are definitely.
But the other question is, do you ever see the other one where it's the truck on the ice road and the show is called like Ice Drivers? Yeah, is it called Ice Road Truckers?
It's literally called Ice Road Truckers. And then the truckers are like, well, that's a big patch of ice. Better drive over it. And it's like,
drive
maybe you should.
over it.
One person, as a matter of fact, I believe that show has a death. And I think Wicked Tuna also has a death. These reality shows are killing people. Because I'm sure folks are like, they would have stopped, but the camera's on them, and they got to be an Ice Road Trucker star. So they drive up a very sharp mountain, very steep mountain, when they shouldn't be.
And what's the rest of the show? Is it just about salt?
I guess so. They don't have the ice salt truckers, or the salt truck drivers. I think that's a really boring show.
Yeah, that sounds terrible. Yeah, it's just a guy going, spreading salt, make sure the ice is defeated. Ice is our enemy, and every day we fight it with the secret weapon that can only defeat ice, besides warmer weather and salt. Yes, maybe if we move to a southerner state or a lower area or a warmer area, we wouldn't have to deal with ice, but we do, and we fight it with salt. Or
Thank
we
God.
wait until it's June, and then what do? Then we take the salt and we put it on a piece of corn.
Ooh, I love that.
Cook it up.
I've been watching. My favorite Instagram follow has been steak videos, @steak videos, and there's a lot of pepper and a lot of salting going on. Anyway, back to this story.
Were you talking about Salt Bay?
What's Salt Bay?
It's a guy that has sunglasses on who put salt on a thing, and it became very big on the internet.
God, we have never made the right choice. We have never figured out how to. You just crack the internet by having something so simple, so stupid, and so universal as salt. Then you can be a multimillionaire.
Yes.
Anyway. Okay, so the suspects in this pug napping / murder, they were charged with burglary, aggravated cruelty to animals, aggravated criminal mischief, unauthorized use of property, and theft by unauthorized taking or transfer. They were being held in lieu of a $5,000 bail. This is according to the Winter Harbor Police Chief Danny Mitchell Jr. He says people around here are outraged. People around here are outraged that this type of crime has been committed. The family pet was taken from the safety of his own home, killed and dumped in the water, wrapped in plastic. My goal is to get this wrapped up and get closure for the family. So the question here is, why did they kill the dog? According to Frankie, that's the name of the dog, his owner, Philip Torrey, he said that Justin also has a dog, and apparently their dogs, this is according to the owner, he says, Justin's dog ran in and Frankie went after him. We had to break them up. They weigh less than 30 pounds each, so it wasn't hard, but Justin was pretty mad. So the working theory is that Justin was so mad that little Frankie the dog attacked his dog that then he murdered Frankie the dog. You gotta let dogs settle their own beef.
Dogs have their own wars. We can't be involved in the dog wars. We can't go and settle it with capital punishment. It's just dogs. Dogs actually, a lot of times when they're fighting, it's playing. You have to look at their tails. If their tails are wagging, then they're not fighting. They're playing. And sometimes it's aggressive because that's how dogs are. You don't just kill them.
No, you do not kill them. It's also, you get your dog and you bring them over there and you say, all right, you guys want to have at it? Have at it. And I guess, or you just leave them alone because they're dogs and they're just playing around, as Henry just said.
It's just dogs. I was walking down the street the other day, and I wasn't walking, Wendy. I was just walking, and I saw these 3 dogs, and they were going crazy, right? I was a little stoned, so I was like, I want to make friends with the dogs. There was walking them, so I kind of like got down, like, do the thing where I show them the back of my hands and like try to squat. One of the dogs went so crazy, it jumped up, and it bit me on the meat right next to my fucking dick. Like right up here, like it bit me up in the soft top of my thigh, like just missed the head of my penis. But I didn't file charges. I didn't kill this dog, which is like, if it had bit my cock, I technically would have a legal.
I think you would now. You probably do now, but I say unless you need a new face, unless that's how bad the mauling is.
Oh yes,
dogs
of
are
course.
dogs. Leave the dogs alone.
Well, yeah, if you chewed the top of my dick off, there'd be a lot of. I'd have to do what I'd like to call an overcorrection.
Right. Now, I mean, was the owner... I would say if the owner is like, yeah, that's right, boy. Yes, you know it.
Yeah,
I
always
think
biting
there's something.
dicks. Oh, yeah.
Trained him perfectly, and then you realize the owner actually has like a little hot dog in the middle of his genitalia to sort of train the dog how to attack certain strangers at that part of their body. I don't know. It doesn't sound very
It's just him hanging a sausage out of his fly all day. Like, get it, boy, get it. And he goes, ha. I think every once in a while he's like, nah, just lick it.
Oh no! So this is what Tori. He wrote this on his Facebook. Again, he is the father of the victim, the pug. He wrote on Facebook that the crime had been committed by, quote, by an enemy that had a vendetta. Maybe I could wrap my brain around it better, but not by two guys I considered friends. So basically, he's just like, these guys weren't even my enemies. I just don't understand. I'm gonna say, buddy, they weren't your friends, and they sound like they were probably horrible employees as well.
Yeah, they killed your fucking dog. That's just that's when the friendship stops.
Absolutely.
I will say, like, for me, I mean, obviously, we are very close friends, very best friends. We're close.
Sure.
But if you kill Wendy, it's gonna be a really hard road back.
Yeah, I mean, I'd have to get you another dog, and then it would have to look exactly like Wendy.
Is
We'd
that
call
how
it
that
Wendy.
works?
Honestly, sometimes, and this is a strange thing, and I want to hear the audience's thoughts on this. You DM me at BenKissel1 on Instagram. I don't like it when people get the same dog over and over and over again and give it the same name.
That's weird.
People, they do this sometimes, and I don't think you got to go through the mourning process and treat each dog like an individual. That's what I say.
Well, just get different dogs. I plan to have
Get
many
different dogs.
Yeah, but it's
Yes.
like, I mean, I'll probably will get more Chihuahuas because I like them now.
Love Chihuahuas.
I'll kiss their little feet and I'll play with their little butts, not sexually, but I'll squeeze on their butts.
I hope you're not like the evil character from the movie Dirty Work, where they're like, I think he's definitely touching that dog. But Tori now, because the outreach was so nice, he says he's been touched and his faith in humanity has been restored. And little Frankie even inspired a hashtag on social media, so you know it's real. Hashtag justice for Frankie. And then he says our community and the family need a sense of closure for this, and they need some sort of resolution. And it looks like they got it because the culprits are behind bars. All right.
Lord. All right. Well, good. At least they got the motherfuckers. This next story I want to talk about real quick was about a headless body in a fish tank.
What the heck is going on here?
It was in San Francisco. A guy, Brian Egg, a man that people said was a San Francisco eccentric, which means he didn't have a cell phone. Which is they said they conversion. That's how they were all like, he didn't have a cell phone. And like, he's just a guy. He's just an old guy. But essentially, he disappeared sometime around June. He had close friends in the neighborhood, an actor named Scott Free, which is funny, who does stand up as a character that he does drag in drag as a character called Pippi Longstocking. He does all of this. I believe it's Pippi Longstocking. Yes, Pippi Lovestocking.
Oh,
Scott
yeah,
Free,
I was going to say you got to have a pun in there. Yeah.
Yes. So Scott Free, who performs in drag and does stand up as Pippi Lovestocking, does he noticed that his friend, like this very good, whatever is what they say, curmudgeon / eccentric man, went missing. Who used to just let drifters live in his house, which sounds like
he can't be that much of a curmudgeon if he lets drifters live in his house.
Well, they were mostly male, and he used to work for he was a bartender. Brian Egg was a bartender for a long-standing gay bar in San Francisco, I believe called Stud. And what he would do is that he just kind of like, he'd have dudes over the house. And guys would come and stay with him for various lengths of time, and he would open his house it started turning into drifters. He had stopped working for a very long time and was just kind of living off of various homeless resources where he would go and eat free lunch. Yeah, he would do kind of stuff like that. But the way that they knew, so essentially he disappeared. They didn't see him for a long time walking his dog. Lucky, he was this puffy little dog. And they noticed a bunch of soapy water started coming out of his front door. And then a company, which you can just hire, this thing that just showed up, they thought that something was really wrong when guys that they did not recognize were just kind of outside of their house, right? Outside of his house. A truck from a company called Aftermath Services showed up.
Aftermath Services? Is that solely to clean up bodies after you murder them?
Yes. I mean, this is obviously, there's a television show in here somewhere which should be done. And I've heard a little bit about this, but these are really like, if you have somebody die in your home, and like there are practical things that nobody really talks about. And part of it is like, what happens if you, like, awful scenario, somebody breaks in your house, you have a gun, you shoot them, they're dead in your house. The investigation's now over. You then have to go and hire a service that a lot of times their jobs are do these what they call bio cleanups.
Right.
When Scott Free saw this truck show up, he was like, there's something fucking awful going on. They call the cops, show up. And they were like, well, let's go in there. They go and see the house, and then they find in a fish tank inside the house that was hidden in a room a decapitated body that's hands were also missing, covered in cleaning fluid. So they go and they assume that it's brine egg, but they don't know for sure. But it's a fucked up story. And the two people just living there, they just moved into his house, murdered him, took over his whole life, took his credit cards, started buying shit on his credit cards, and then just acting like they were him.
Real? Okay, so yeah, the police haven't released what kind of liquid was in the tank quite yet. It seems like a cleaning supplies. Yeah, they arrested two dudes who had been neighbors, who neighbors said they had seen at the home around that time. One of them, Lance Silva, 39 years old, he was charged in court documents using Egg's credit card to order the crime scene cleanup van and buy a used BMW for $5,000.
Oh yeah, man, living it up.
So he financed the cleanup with the dude's credit card, and then went the BMW route, I guess.
I mean, I'm kind of have the same plan. We're going to get rid of Natalie's car, and I want to buy a used fancy car because that's how you get the fancy car that you like, but not for the prices that a fancy car normally holds. You see, it's smart, but it's just a very fucked up crime, and mostly it's what's sad about it is that it was just kind of this generous dude that was super eccentric because he won't text, and he got taken advantage of by a bunch of dudes that then came in and fucking beheaded you, and it shows you got to just stop letting people, no more guests.
No more guests. We've seen it time and time and time again, what guests can do. Wasn't Sinbad house guest?
Well, you say that, you know what? And yes, he may have caused a bit of chaos when he arrived.
He did.
But in the end, his love and his laughter, he brought the family together in a way that they never really understood before. And they never looked at each other and they said, hey, why don't we kick off our shoes for a little bit and relax?
Right. Yeah, there was a whole run of movies in the mid-'90s where it's like, yes, I've broken into your home. Yes, I'm a con man. But aren't you happy your parents stayed together?
See?
And it's really quite bizarre.
But you see? Well, no, there were so many. Mrs. Doubtfire is the story of a deeply disturbed individual that went as far as to wear fake tits in your own family's home. He almost fucked that bus driver.
No.
You remember that part? When he said something like, the simple lady like you going home alone. There was a second there where Robin Williams was going to sit on that man's lap and let him come into his big, thick pantyhose.
Well,
just to keep the ruse going from his family.
Well, I think they edited that part out of the movie to keep it a family-friendly film. So the police, they arrested the two guys on charge. The other guy was named Robert McCaffrey. They were arrested on charges of homicide, fraud, theft, identity theft, and elder abuse charges. But now these charges were dropped. Silva, the one aforementioned, he remains in custody on a parole violation from a previous fraud case. But the second dude, Robert McCaffrey, was released. So I don't fully understand. They don't seem like they're safe, really. It seems like San Francisco now has two people who have beheaded someone, or one person is now on the streets who beheaded someone.
It definitely seems like something else will come out in terms of what was they must have, I guess, have some sort of proof that it was consensual. Not like the occupying of the house was consensual. Like them being there was, because I'm certain it was. I'm certain that he did say, hey, you can stay here. And then now they have to piece together, how do we make sure we prove that this body that's now essentially been boiled in bleach, you guys made it.
And I don't know why it doesn't really mean anything, but this is just the facts. Egg was going to be 66 years old, and his birthday was on September, or will be on September 11th. So that's got to be a horrible day to have a birthday. That's all I'm going to say.
I don't know, the opposite in a way.
You
feel like at this
cannot
point,
legally celebrate. You cannot be happy on September 11th.
It's starting to turn. It's starting to turn. We're going to be getting barbecues on September 11th in 10 years.
All right, I
10 years. It's going to be a national holiday. We'll be having barbecues. You'll be loving. We'll be giving each other gifts. But they have to be delivered via paper airplane, which is a very not sensitive. It's not sensitive. It's not nice.
Not at all.
Speaking of,
all right.
What I will say, speaking of ultra sensitive, we could talk for a hot second. Is that it is Elliott Smith's it's the 20th. It's his birthday this week.
No, his birthday was last month, but I was looking into his autopsy reports because happy birthday, Elliott Smith.
I don't know too much about it. Obviously, I know he's a musician. I've heard some of his music, and he was very sad and he committed suicide.
I mean, he was sad. But you know that his first name was Stephen? Elliott
Stephen
Smith?
Paul Smith.
Stephen Paul Smith. Well, how'd they get to Elliott?
Elliott was just something he came up with, and apparently he was mercilessly mocked for it at school.
Well, it's because he said...
Well, it's not a nickname. It's just a different name.
He walked into... he kept... his sadness was both real and also... I'm going to go on a limb here. Don't attack me for this. It was a little... He also wore it like armor as well. And because he didn't want to go as Steve Smith, because he said that sounded like being a jock. So the Elliott Smith made him sound more sensitive.
I don't. It's weird when you walk into school and you're just like, I'm Elliott now, but everyone's like, your name is Steve, and Elliott's not a derivative of Steve. I don't know if you can just do. You can do whatever you want.
You do whatever you want.
But I also think your friends also have a right to be like, so now you're Elliott.
But there's a lot of talk about whether or not his death was a suicide or a murder. There's a lot of people who try to put it onto his final girlfriend, Jennifer Chiba, he was helping her band at the time, and apparently they had a horrible fight the day that his death occurred, and there's some people saying that, number one, he owed 20 G's to the fucking Mexican cartels, which seems kind of far off. And there's another view that Jennifer Chiba herself murdered him, which I also think is very intense to say.
So let me just set the scene.
Okay.
October 21st, around 1 p.m., Echo Park in Los Angeles.
What year are we talking here?
2003.
Okay.
Elliott Smith and Jennifer Chiba in their apartment in Echo Park. They start having an argument. The argument apparently is Jennifer Chiba recently had a DUI and was trying to get a ride to her therapist's appointment. And that apparently set everything off in motion. They start yelling and screaming at each other. Jennifer Chiba runs to the bathroom and locks the door. Elliott Smith is pounding on the door to let her in. He's crying. About 5 to 10 minutes later, she hears a scream and a thud. She opens the door. She finds Elliott laying on the floor with 2 plunging wounds in his chest.
So that's what happened?
And in one of the wounds was the knife was still in his chest.
Ooh.
So she rips the knife out of his chest.
Oh, maybe not the right idea.
And calls 911, and she performs CPR. The cops show up. They take him away. 20 minutes later, he dies of exsanguination, which is no more blood.
Yeah, he bled all of his
blood out. That's a nice way of saying no more blood. That's weird to me. I don't know. She might have gotten off a little easy here. I'm not saying that she did anything. I don't know, but I feel like cops usually, I don't know. I just feel like they may have very well charged her with something.
Well, actually, if you look at the autopsy, the mode of death is undetermined because of a couple of different factors. They didn't even call it a suicide officially.
Really?
Because it was so open-ended.
Has she spoken about this at all?
Oh, she's done with it.
She's done.
The thing is,
she didn't say anything for a while, right? And then she recently kind of came out and started talking a little bit about it because we'll get into some of the autopsy discrepancies.
2 knife wounds to himself, apparently. First one was 2 inches. Second one was 7 inches.
That's not easy to do.
No hesitation marks.
But that's what they said.
Was he on drugs or sober?
He was completely sober.
I don't know how anyone could do that.
That's the thing. Like 2 inches, then 7. That is really fucking being deliberate about your suicide.
Yeah.
In the most unorthodox way.
But they also say that the hesitation points, because that's what they said, is it common in suicide by stab wound, there's the hesitation marks where the first couple kind of like searching stabs are done. But what if they were on the same mark?
And on his arms, they're also, they think he had, or they somewhat suppose that he had defensive wounds on his arms. Although,
What? I feel
so
like
he had a cut on his left arm, cut on his right arm, and then 2 cuts on his hands.
Well, those are defensive wounds.
Those are defensive wounds,
don't know.
but he was also a cutter. So he was probably slicing and dicing himself outside the door
gosh.
while Jennifer Chiba had the door locked.
This is what I'm saying. He's sad.
Uber could have saved the day if Uber was around there. Hop in one of those, maybe a Lyft, or at least some cell phones, so that she could have been like, you're on Insta story. And I mean, then this is definitive proof that I am not the one stabbing you.
And at least according to the forensics person, apparently when you do an act like this, which is very rare actually to stab yourself in the heart like that, you usually lift your shirt up or take your shirt off or expose the skin. He just went right through the clothing. Ooh. Although many of his friends say he wouldn't be caught dead with his shirt off, much like you, Ben.
Really bad body, huh?
He was literally every type of sad. He was all of them. He was every color of the rainbow of sad.
Oh,
he was
that's
upset about his success. He was upset about his not success before. He was upset about him dealing with his, because basically he took over the engineering for his girlfriend's new album. He was both upset and not upset about that. He had a lot of shit going on.
But he was clean and sober, and I think what had happened was basically he was a man without his medicine. So all of his all the trauma that he covered up with heroin or with alcohol was just sort of now an exposed nerve, and he got into a situation where his mental illness was rattled.
Yep.
And he ultimately did what he had been trying to prevent with drugs the entire time.
Go to the doctor and get on some medication if you need it.
What they say it's very interesting about, there is such a thing as manic depression. Like when you go into certain levels of very deep, intense clinical depression, you can go into these waves of manic depression. Because they say a lot of the reason why it's not people depressives was another thing. The same thing about Anthony Bourdain is that a suicide in depression a lot of times does not happen in the depths of your depression. That's normally when you're immobile and can do nothing.
Yeah,
it's when you're coming out, because it's like you get the energy back. You're getting the energy back, and then you're liable to do something stupid and impulsive.
That's what happened to Artie Lang as well. I cannot believe that man is still alive, and I hope that he stays alive for a long time. I know you work with him on Crashing Henry, but he did a similar thing, and that's what he said during one of his manic fits, stabbed himself multiple times. All right, so that's Elliott Smith, and go check out his new hit. I don't know. Does he have a new hit? Probably not.
I don't think he does. I think that he does have a lot of sad stuff out there, and it's pretty damn sad. And we definitely did a mock version of Elliott Smith for the title cards of my character special.
Very good. All right, everyone. Well, I think those are some of the fun stories of this week. I don't know if fun is the right word. That's never the right word for really anything that we cover here on Last Podcast.
Sometimes it's fun.
Sometimes it's fun. But thank you all so much for listening, and I think you're going to love this week's topic on Last Podcast on the Left proper. I will not tell you what it is, but it's going to be a party.
It's going to be a party. You'll love it. People laugh and love all the time.
They do.
But they sometimes they're not living. They come from the dead. They're doing it from heaven. And that's not really doing it. I think I said the last time was eat, fuck, dance.
I don't know I try to forget this part of the show.
Grip, rip, jump. That's what you got to do this week, man.
If you're cliff hanging, I don't know what.
But sometimes
I don't know.
I'm living and I'm laughing. If I'm living and laughing, that's actually probably me at my scariest without the loving.
Right, absolutely. Now that's manic and yes, very frightening.
That's when I'm at my most dangerous.
You want to have love, love, ladies and gentlemen. I hear it's what keeps us together. Okay, everyone, thank you all so much for listening. Find us on social media. You know where to do it. We just went over 100,000 on Instagram for Last Podcast on the Left, which is so nice. So thank you all for following us there on Insta.
We're finally valid.
Yay.
We finally got the missing piece, Kissel.
Oh.
How does it feel? How does it feel to finally be fulfilled?
Does not feel anything. That's the thing with social media. I remember when I had like 5,000 followers on like Twitter, and it's like, can't wait to get to 10. And then I got 10. I was like, I want 50. I got 50. And then it's like, it doesn't mean anything. So I did not feel the reward. And then I realized the reward is in your heart.
But that's
not
what
on your social media feed.
Well, it's because it's how they built the fucking apps, because we got our little reward systems from our endorphin spikes. How does that feel? How does that feel?
That's why I like my slot machines in Atlantic City.
Well, hail
all right,
Satan.
everyone. Hail yourselves. Thanks for listening.
Beep.